Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is the Valley Business Today. Front Royal Warren County Chamber's turn at the mic. Nikki Foster on the Zooms with me. She's at the chamber office. I'm in my kitchen. We were not able to do an in-person anything this month, Nikki, because it has been a comedy of errors in both of our lives.
Yes, this has definitely been a couple of weeks for the record books for sure.
But wine and craft must go on. How many years have we together thought, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And yet it's still the third Saturday of May still rolls around. The festival still happens and it always ends up good in the end. So you got to hold on to that in these weeks leading up to the festival.
Yeah. And you know this well because you've definitely done your fair share of wine and craft festival planning. The last couple of weeks leading up to it are brutal. And so we're in the thick of that right now, but it's going to be a really great event. We're really excited about all the things that are happening surrounding it.
We have been talking for several months now about wine and craft, but we talked a fair amount a couple of months ago about vendors and that you were shocked at how early you were receiving interest and applications for vendors. I'm guessing that as we're sitting here a week and a half before the event, are you sold out for vendor space?
We have been sold out for 2 weeks.
Wow.
We've been sold out for 2 weeks. So I transitioned our online application from an application to a wait list. And we have 30 vendors on the wait list as of this morning. It's the first year that it's been like this. Like we've had years where we've been full, we've been sold out, but never nearly a month before the festival have we been sold out the way we were this year. It's very exciting. It's definitely a good problem to have, but I got to tell you, some of these vendors that are jumping on the wait list, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I had a spot for them because there's some really good stuff on there.
Let's talk about that for a second too, because I wonder from the outside looking in, people say she's got all of Main Street, part of Chester. How can you not have
Okay.
room? But there is a finite amount of space that you actually do have.
There is. And the insane thing is, we actually extended this year. So when we ended last year, we had a discussion, a committee discussion about maybe pulling back a little bit and not going all the way down to Crescent on Chester Street, creating a little more of an exclusive experience. And then we didn't do that. And we've now extended the event. So it goes all the way down to 2nd Street. So not only are we sold out, but we added a couple more blocks to the event to accommodate the influx of vendors. So, yeah, it's bigger this year than it's ever been. And again, we have all of those folks that are waiting.
What kinds of vendors have you been able to accept? Because there used to be a lot of people that had wine related things that they made, whether it was the crocheted thing that would hold your glass as you're walking around the festival,
Sure.
wine charms, things like that. I'm sure you have a ton of those.
We have some of those, yes. It's not an overwhelming majority. Jewelry, of course, is always one of those things that you get a wide variety of jewelry, and it's all different sorts of jewelry from folks who hand make it from clay, the folks who do the wire wrap jewelry. There's all sorts of different varieties. We have a permanent jewelry vendor. We have a few folks who are actually making furniture, like handmade furniture. One of them uses wine barrels. One of them uses reclaimed wood, that sort of stuff. Of course, you've got some of the folks who do the sublimation stuff with tumblers, a couple of 3D printers. We also have a hand-rolled cigar vendor. The list goes on and on and on. We've got some crochet vendors because, crocheting is back, Janet. We've got vendors with like clothes. We've got a couple of vendors that their clothing is specific to festival wear. Which is like a bohemian style clothing. There's so many different things that you're going to be able to shop for when you're here.
And then you do a really good job too of peppering in community organizations. So there are going to be nonprofits that are set up that people can say, hey, this is what we do at Phoenix Project, for example.
Sure.
And they get the ability to spread the word about what they do to the large crowd that's going to be there that day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We do have a number of our community organizations that are participating. And then we have a number of our downtown merchants that participate, that they actually set up a booth in front of their store. So it is a really, really good variety. And I can't even believe these words are going to come out of my mouth, but you know how fast time goes now. It's a great time to start your early Christmas shopping, man. It's going to happen. Somebody said to me yesterday that we're only, what did they say, 6.5 months away from Christmas, and I nearly fell over. But I did know that April 1st, we're halfway to Halloween.
Of course, that would be the holiday that you would
Yeah.
designate.
Well, of course. Yeah, of course. But yeah, it goes so fast. I can't believe we're here already 2 weeks out from the Wine and Craft Festival.
Right, because in January, we were talking about how far away that was.
Yes, exactly.
I feel your pain there too, because as people are listening today on Wine and Craft Festival Day, as a matter of fact, I will start season 10 of hosting this show. A decade, Nikki
Wild.
Foster, of hosting this show. How did that sneak up on
Yeah.
us?
I have no idea. I have no idea. My grandfather told me when I was little, he always told me, because I would be like, oh, I can't wait till I can drive, or I can't wait till I can do this or that. And he would always tell me, stop wishing your life away. It goes by much faster than you think. And I wish you were still here for me to say, you know what, you were right. I'm sorry I didn't listen. But yeah, it just, time flies. It's like someone has hit the fast forward button.
And it has the opposite effect sometimes too, because yesterday's show was the show that I broke Cal Ripken's record.
Yes.
He had 2,632 consecutive games, and yesterday was my 2,633rd episode. Sometimes it's not like, oh my gosh, how quickly did that happen? It's like, oh my God, that took forever.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And you know what? Two things can be true at once, right? Like it can,
It's
yes.
true.
Yep.
So before we go to break, because when we come back, I want to talk about food. We haven't even touched on food yet. You've got
Uh-huh.
entertainment, the wine itself. The whole point of the festival is the
Yeah.
wineries and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff. So we'll do all of that in the next segment. But before we go to break, how can people get tickets? Is there still a deal if they get tickets right now?
Yeah, it's a significant deal. We changed that up a little bit this year. It used to be a $5 discount if you purchased your tickets early. It's $10 now. So if you purchase your tickets right now, they're $30. If you purchase them at the gate, they're $40. So you can get your tickets at wineandcraftfestival.com. Click on purchase tickets and it'll take you right to the link to do so.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll cover all of the things that I just mentioned and talk to a little bit about the fact that even if you're coming and not drinking, you don't have to pay any admission fee. But if you're coming, not drinking, but want to buy a bottle, you do.
Mhm.
So we'll get in
Right.
the weeds on some of that in the next segment.
Okay.
We're on the Zooms today with Nikki Foster. She is president of the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. Every year they host the Wine and Craft Festival on the third Saturday in May. This year it is May 16th. We're going to get more details about that when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
This Saturday, Henry Mueller will change the world. He has no idea that's what he's going to do. He only knows that he went to justserve.org and signed up to spend time at a senior center Saturday morning. As he browsed through service opportunities in his own community, he remembered the words of Paul to the Galatians, "By love serve one another." Little does Henry know that Saturday morning he'll end up speaking to one senior in particular who hasn't seen his family in several weeks and is feeling especially lonely. Henry doesn't know the short time he'll spend with this man will lift his spirits, cheer his heart, and make his life just a little better. Through love and service this Saturday, Henry Mueller will change the world. See the difference you can make. Sign up for service opportunities in your community. Visit justserve.org.
Welcome back to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is all about the Wine and Craft Festival. On the show today, Nikki Foster is joining me. She is president at the Front Royal Warren County Chamber of Commerce. It happens the third Saturday in May every year. How many years is this, Nikki? I joke with you that I'm 10 years now, almost into the Valley
Yeah.
today. How many years Wine and Craft is this?
38. This is the 38th annual. It started as the Virginia Mushroom Festival.
Right.
And then it transitioned from the Virginia Mushroom Festival to the Virginia Wine and Mushroom Festival. And then, from what I understand, they were unable to get enough vendors to justify calling it the Mushroom Festival any longer. And that's when it transitioned to the Virginia Wine and Craft Festival, which was in the early 2000s. For a number of years after that, I think up until 2000, maybe 12 or 13, we had Mr. Goland, Mr. Paul Goland, who was the lone mushroom vendor that was left.
I remember him.
And then he was no longer able to join us. So we've gone probably the last 10 years without a mushroom vendor. Well, this year we will have 3 mushroom vendors. So
What?
folks who love mushrooms, I meant to say that in the vendor spot, folks who love mushrooms will be able to come and enjoy mushrooms, purchase mushrooms, all that sort of stuff.
So mushrooms are having a moment, much like crochet.
Apparently, yeah, apparently they are. Yeah. Because all these farmers markets and stuff that I follow on socials, I'm always seeing mushroom vendors at these farmers markets. So one of our board members, Robbie D's Little Greens, he was able to rope a few mushroom vendors for us. So we're excited about that.
And you're going to have a ton of food. There is so much food
Yes.
there at
Yes.
this festival, from food trucks to the restaurants that are located on Main Street.
That's a really good point, Janet. So we want folks to remember that while, yes, we have all of this great food with food trucks and food vendors and stuff, there's also really awesome restaurants down on Main Street. So we encourage you to try those, and all of them are open. Some of them have specials for the day, all that kind of stuff. So definitely check them out. But our range of food vendors goes from, of course, Sherry's Crab Cakes, who's been with us forever. Folks love those crab cakes. And then we've got the festival foods like the hoagies and the steak and cheese sandwiches, all that kind of stuff. We've got a couple of the lemonade vendors. We've got the dirty soda vendors, because, you know, that's a really big thing now, the dirty sodas. Cousins Maine Lobster is joining us this year. So you can get your lobster on if you want to. Of course, Clay's Barbecue, which is always a favorite. We have this year, I'm really excited about this vendor, Janet, Just Fries. And they do hand-cut boardwalk style fries.
I've heard of them and have not yet tried them. So that's a good get.
Yeah, that's all they do, which is really cool. Of course, we've got a couple of vendors that are doing sort of your normal, again, like I said, festival foods, burgers, fries, those sorts of things. And we've got Blue Ridge Popcorn. They do the gourmet popcorns. We've got the Moonshine Fudge. They do the different hand-cut fudges and stuff. We have Korean fare as well. And a Mason's Lodge will be here doing some of their special roast and stuff that they do. So there's a wide variety. Anything that you want is going to be down there. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're not going to go home hungry. The food selection and variety sounds a lot like the wine selection and variety from the number of wineries that you're going to have down there. How many wineries did you end up with?
So we have 24 from all over the place. Most of the wineries are coming from quite a distance. We've got folks from Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, got some folks from the Eastern Shore, all over the place. We've got some that are closer in, some that are Loudoun County, Frederick County, that sort of stuff. But a good portion of them are coming from quite a ways outside of the area.
And they're all from Virginia. That's the whole point of the Virginia Wine and Craft Festival.
Yes, absolutely. We do require that they are Virginia products. Yes.
That runs the gamut too, from your reds to your sweet wines to your Chardonnays. And didn't you also add mead and some other things too?
Yeah, we've got a couple of mead and cider vendors. And what we've seen used to be that the wineries just had wine. They had red, they had some sweet, they had some white. Now what you're seeing is a lot of them have sangria. A lot of them have slushy machines. So they're making wine slushy. So there's lots of different creative things that they're doing. So when you're here, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to try new things.
And to be clear, so when you buy your ticket, ideally in advance, save yourself $10, you get a wristband. You have to go and you have to check in. You get your glass, your ID has to be checked, all of that sort of stuff. And then you get to taste the wine. But you can also buy a glass of wine if you taste one you really like, or if one of these wineries are doing a slushy, you're able to buy one of those. And then you can also say, hey, I'll take 3 bottles of that and 2 bottles of that and take bottles home with you.
So yeah, you can certainly purchase by the glass, purchase, like you said, the slushies. And if you want to purchase a bottle of wine and go down and sit at the gazebo and drink it there or whatever, yes, you can absolutely do that too. Another thing you'll be able to do this year is because we have folks that they're going to get to experience wineries that they might not get to. They might really like something. And so they might want to purchase a case of their wine. And so if they do that, they can then bring that case of wine to our designated area and drop it off with us and leave it there for the day. So they don't have to carry that around with them. And we'll give them a ticket so that they can come and reclaim it when they're ready to go. That just provides them more of an opportunity to be able to grab the things that they'd like to grab.
To that point, I mentioned this right before we went to break. So if someone's listening and they're like, you know what, I'm going to go, but I'm not going to drink anything. There is no general admission, so they can just come and go and shop and eat until their heart's content. But if they're there and then they spot a winery that, oh, I didn't know they were going to be here, I really want to get a couple bottles, they do have to have a ticket, even if they're not going to drink that day on premises, because you still have to follow the ABC laws.
Absolutely. Yes. They do have to be wearing a wristband in order to purchase from any of the wineries. So if they come down and they want to buy some bottles or whatever, then they will have to go through the line. They will have to purchase their admission ticket. They'll get their complimentary glass, all of those things, but they can't just walk up and purchase a bottle of wine. No.
And you have the list of all the wineries on the wineandcraftfestival.com website, so people can scope that out ahead of time.
Absolutely. Got it up on our socials, of course. We've got it on the event page on Facebook. It's on the website. Yeah, they can find that list pretty much anywhere.
And then you have music.
Yeah, we'll have a variety of music. There'll be a couple of bands at the gazebo. We have Dan McDermott back again as our DJ. He'll do karaoke on the square. Folks love doing that, especially after they've had some taste.
A few tastings in.
Yeah, so that will be popular. Yeah, and you never know what other little fun entertainment things you might encounter as you're walking through the crowd.
Isn't that the truth? Been there, saw that.
Yeah, both planned and not planned.
Yes. So where can people go? Tell me one more time. Where can they get tickets, see the vendors, get all the details?
Okay, wineandcraftfestival.com is the best place if you're going to order tickets, if you just want general information. You can also volunteer. We do still have slots for volunteers. And if you volunteer for a couple of hours, then you get your wine admission at no charge. So it's a good incentive to volunteer for sure. And it's a lot of fun. So I would encourage people to look at that too. You can do that from the website as well. I would also encourage you to follow us at VA Wine and Craft on Facebook and on Instagram so that you can keep up to date. We're doing vendor highlights, spotlights, and then of course, just sharing general information on that page very regularly.
I do want to give you props, given that Apple Blossom is now in the rear view, that you have always, as far as I can remember, you have always, if you volunteer, you get a ticket to the event, because as I have seen on Facebook after Apple Blossom, that was not the case for a lot of those events. People volunteered and then had to buy a ticket to actually be a part of the event. So kudos to you for giving volunteers access, because they're paying by way of giving you their time.
For us, the volunteers are really honestly what make this thing tick, from the committee members who work on the event to the folks who help us day of, because this event doesn't happen without our volunteers. It just doesn't. And so we feel really strongly that we have to recognize that. And I wish I could give them more than that. But we are a nonprofit organization. This is our largest fundraiser of the year. So, we're like everybody else trying to keep our doors open.
And everybody can help with that by going to wineandcraftfestival.com, buying your ticket now. Whether you think you may or may not go, saving $10 in this economy is a big deal. So go get your ticket and then decide later what you're going to do.
Exactly. And hey, just another quick plug, because Mother's Day is Sunday. They make great Mother's Day gifts.
Well, thank you for giving me all the details. I hope it is a sunny 73, slightly breezy day. How about that?
I love that. And I hope everybody else who's listening puts that out in the universe as well, because we could really use a good weather day.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley. Today, it is Gauze Day. So Traffic Safety Thursday, Public Safety Thursday, depending on what it is we're going to talk about when he shows up at the studio tomorrow, because it is a live show. So meet me back here for that just a few minutes after noon.